Welcome to What the Falafel podcast. This week, I'm so excited. We've got the chef we all know and love. It's Ben Rebuck.
Hello.
Hi, Ben.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Are you really, though?
I've hurt my back this morning, so if anyone sees me looking a little bit worse for wear, it's because I've got a hot water bottle and a TENS machine on my back. But, you know, that's life in your 30s. That's what happens.
God, yes. We had a panic message. Not panicked, but a message this morning just saying, like, help, can't walk.
Yeah, I was panicking. I had to drive home from the gym where I hurt my back, and the drive was about 5 minutes, and I got home and burst into tears in pain. So, yeah, men cry too. It's okay. It's all good. But, yeah, it's not fun, but I'm a professional. No one's going to know. But if you see me wincing and trying to struggle to move, it's because of that. I'm not constipated or anything like that. So it's fine.
We've been reassured you're not constipated. You could also be.
I could. Well, I've taken a few pills this morning, so I might be soon, but it should be fine.
This is why I don't go to the gym.
Mm.
I just think there's so many accidents and injuries. I've watched the Blue Zones thing. Have you seen that on Netflix? Where they talk about like the healthiest diet in the world, and no one there goes to the gym. They garden.
Yeah, but they eat good food.
Yes.
And I guess the stuff that they get is probably better than the stuff that we get here. So
this is true. Well, this kind of leads us on to very nicely your entire life.
Okay.
Which is about food. How did you get into cooking and doing what you're doing?
It's a good question. I mean, it's one that probably people ask me the most. Like, it's how did you get into it, and then how can I get into it, which is a whole different conversation. But to be honest, I've always been interested in food. When I was younger, I actually wanted to be a chef. I mean, like really, like I was like 8, 9 years old, and I was quite an obese child, so I was always eating food. So I was like, if I learn how to cook food, it means I can eat food more. So that was the way I kind of got into it. And I, you know, growing up, I watched all the cooking shows had like the Food Network in my room, and like I would just watch it, and I was just obsessed with cooking and learning like what flavors go together. And you know, I remember cooking for my mum and her boyfriend at the time, like an anniversary meal when I can't have been more than 12 or 13. I made them like steak with like a red wine jus and like a potato dauphinoise. Like it's always just something that I wanted to do. And the older I got, the more I kind of started cooking for convenience, because you know, when you're an adult and you're having to buy the ingredients and you're having to cook to literally live, you know, you kind of, it's hard to cook like that every single day. It would be, you know, I'd make pasta and I'd put, you know, some chicken or some tuna in it just for a bit of protein, and that was kind of how I was living for a long time. And it wasn't until I started, you know, kind of adopting like a plant-based lifestyle that it kind of reignited my like desire to cook and like my passion for it, because I had to basically relearn everything that I thought I knew about food. And it brought it all back. And you know, I started posting pictures of the food on my Instagram in 2018, which I'd started because people kept saying, you know, I don't understand what vegan is. You know, it's not like it is now. You know, this is 8 years ago almost, if not 8 years ago. And, you know, people were like, I don't really get what you're eating. I was like, I can't be bothered to explain it. I'll just post the pictures of it. And one thing led to another, and, you know, sort of here I am now. It's been a bit of a journey.
Wow. So you weren't actually working as a chef at the time that you started your Instagram?
No, I've never been a chef. I'm not professionally trained. Like, I wouldn't actually personally call myself a chef, because it's a bit like, I always say, you know, if you play football for a Sunday league team, you don't knock about calling yourself a footballer. Like, I've never trained to do it. I don't do it professionally. I've never worked in a kitchen, and, you know, I've done events and I've cooked for people, and, you know, I've been paid to do that, but I still don't think it makes me a chef. I still think it's, you know, for me, I feel like I'm paying my respect to the people who actually, you know, you work in a kitchen. I know a lot of people who are chefs, and, you know, you can work in a kitchen for 6 months peeling potatoes every single day for 10 hours a day, and like you still won't be called a chef at the end of it. You know, it's a title for a reason. You know, it's like being an estate agent. I can get a job as an estate agent tomorrow, but I'm not going to be a qualified estate agent. I'm just going to be someone who works as an estate agent. So I did actually used to work as an estate agent, by the way. But that's a boring conversation.
No, we need to go there.
So yeah, for me, it just paying my respect to people who are actually, like, I genuinely do respect the craft, and, you know, the hours and hours that people have to put in to actually get to where they need to go. And again, like footballers, you know, only the very best are considered footballers. The rest are, you know, part-timers, semi-pros, football players, whatever. So, yeah.
There's so much on that. Firstly, I feel like I need to refilm the introduction, because I definitely think I introduced you as a chef.
No, it's
so
fine.
Sorry. What do you prefer to be called? What do, like, if somebody says, what do you do?
I'm a content creator.
Okay.
I'm a food content creator, lifestyle content creator. Because technically that is what I do. You know, a chef prepares food for other people. I cook food for myself and then normally give it to my neighbours or throw it in the bin. So
You throw it in the bin?
Well,
Don't
because
tell me that.
Yeah, well, because I make a lot of food that is not necessarily the healthiest or in keeping with what I actually am trying to eat currently. So, you know, sometimes on social media, the more unhealthy food tends to be a bit more viral. You know, when things are fried and they're crispy and they're this and they're that. You know, I have a bite or two, and you know, if my wife wants it, she'll have it, and if not, I can offer it to the neighbours, and if not, it goes in the waste disposal.
I'd love to be your neighbour.
Yeah, a lot of people say that to me.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Is there something that you love cooking more than anything?
Like a cuisine or a specific dish?
I don't know, just anything. Like just when you just get into the kitchen and you're just in the zone.
I mean, I mentioned pasta before, but it is just pasta because I think there's just, you know, a little tube of semolina flour. It can go so far and it can be so many different things. And
you actually make your own pasta?
No, I mean, I don't. I mean, I can, but like I don't. I mean, who has the time? It takes 10 minutes to cook it from, you know, just in the packet. But you know, I think I do all the sauces and whatever, and I think you can just be creative with it, and it, you know, it's a vessel that carries the flavour of whatever, and you know, all the different shapes have a different purpose, and they go with a specific type of sauce, and it's just, I feel like you can't get it wrong, and even if you make it and it's not that nice, it's still pretty good. So yeah, I would always pick that as like my dish that it's just a go-to.
It is easy, especially when you've got kids, to just be like, pasta.
Yeah, well, we cook my daughter pasta pretty often because she loves it, because I mean, who doesn't?
How old is she now?
She's going to be 2 in September. I don't know if this is going after September, so she might be 2,
Okay.
or she's nearly 2. But
okay.
yeah, she's 2 in September. So
Oh, she's little. Why did I think that she was older?
I don't know.
Oh, she's really little.
She's little.
Oh,
Yeah.
Goldie?
Goldie.
Because you were going to you were starting up a restaurant.
That old chestnut.
Oh, the breath.
Yeah.
Is that breath from the back or breath because actually this is a whole trigger?
No, I mean, look, the restaurant thing was frustrating because we didn't get screwed over per se, but we had a venue and we kind of, you know, we found a venue before anything else, and we built everything else as a plan off the back of the venue, and they were just delaying and delaying and delaying, and like 4 months in, we were just like, this is ridiculous. Like, if they're going to behave this way just before we've even signed contracts and done anything, it put our backs up a little bit, and it was frustrating for me because obviously we were at that point at the beginning of the year this year of, you know, yeah, we're ready to talk about it to people. I got an appearance on TV, and I was like, this is a great opportunity to, you know, plug the restaurant, talk about it. So I went on national TV talking about this restaurant, which then didn't happen. So it's a bit of a, you know, kind of got to put your tail between your legs and just say, well, it's not happening currently. But we decided, it was me and two of the business partners I was doing it with, that it's much better to, at this stage, not rush into opening something that isn't necessarily going to be good. I always say, and you know, it's like weddings. You speak to your grandparents, you know, if your grandparents are still alive, and you can say, oh, do you remember going to Rita and John's wedding in 1950? Oh, it was a great wedding. The food was terrible. And like, people remember bad meals. People remember bad meals at weddings and bad meals at restaurants. So we were like, if we open something, it's got my name, my brand, like my whole, I guess, image is attached to it. And also my business partners, they worked in events as well, a lot around food. And we just thought, if we rush this and we don't get it right and people are coming and the food is bad, like, you know, I actually went to the restaurant that was in the same location as where we were supposed to open. You know, a few people said, oh, you know, it's like a Jewish deli style place. I went there, it was terrible. And I was like,
oh, no.
I spent a load of money, the food was terrible. And then whenever people would ask me, like, oh, have you been there? I'd be like, yeah, don't go. So,
Right.
and that's it's cutthroat. You know, the restaurant industry isn't really something that you want to get into unless you're prepared to be bashed by people. But, you know, people have off days. You know, a chef can have a bad day, and, you know, the produce might not be as fresh. Like, all these things, you know, they can happen.
Yeah.
We've all been to restaurants where the food hasn't been good, and
Yeah.
you know,
You do remember.
You do,
it's
mate.
true.
It makes you not want to go back. And, you know, oftentimes you do go back and you might have a better meal, but you still remember the first time that you went there and it wasn't good.
Yeah.
So it just felt a little bit risky. So we put it on the back burners. The two guys, like I said, they work events, and like, you know, it's been summer, you know, spring and summer, they do weddings and bar mitzvahs and whatever. It's a lot busier now. We're hoping to kind of pick up conversations again, maybe come October, November, but I've also got a baby due in October, probably
Basil.
mid-September now as well. So
That's so exciting. Do you know what you're having?
we're having a boy.
Oh, that's so nice.
Little
What a
boy,
beach.
please God, yeah.
Oh.
No, so that's exciting. So there's always going to be things that get in the way, but look, hopefully we can pick those conversations up again and find somewhere that works. And we all still want to do it, but we'll see if it happens.
That's exciting. I think things do. It's really hard to see it when you're in it, but looking back, things always happen for a reason. There's always something. Why.
People like to say that. It is reassuring, but it's frustrating. But
do you not believe in that?
It's not that I don't believe in it. It's just I had a very frustrating start of the year with the restaurant. My wife and I were trying to move house, and we're trying to sell our house. And if honestly, I know people say if I had a pound or a penny for, everyone says to me, "Oh, you only need one person to buy it." I could have bought my house with the £1 from everyone saying that. So it's one of those things. Like, it is what it is. The universe has its plans and whatever. But yeah, if it's meant to be, it will happen. And clearly it wasn't the right time, and it probably wasn't the right space, and we probably would have run into issues there that maybe would have cost us probably money, to be honest, which you don't really want to do. So
how do you deal with it when you're in this feeling of just it's not moving, it's not happening how you want it to, you've got these big plans and it's not quite what you want? I think we've all been there when life isn't going the way you want it. How do you cope?
To be honest, I spent 2 months actually pretty down about it. I think for me, I worked with a therapist before, and she sent me this really useful picture, and it's 3 circles, and the middle circle is control, the second circle is influence, and the third one is no control, no influence, let it go. And I try and actually really live by that, because it generally helped me in so many, with anxiety, with things, whatever. And obviously you can only influence what you can influence. Like, now I can move that glass, and I can move it. I actually can't, because I can't move because of my back. But for example, I can move the glass. Oh, sorry. And I just apologise to the microphone.
That's
in case I hurt it. I'm just a nice guy.
You're so nice.
Yeah, I can move the glass, and I can decide that's what I want to do. I can say to you, can you move the glass? But then someone can come in and just pick up the glass and take it away, and I can't control those things. So I'm now trying to live I can only do what I can do with the things that I can do. I can push for the space for the restaurant. I can try and find other spaces. I can reduce the price of my house. I can do what I've got to do. And when people come round to see the house, for example, and when people ask me about the restaurant, I can tell, it might still happen, and I think this is a really nice house, it's great, and I can influence those people. But ultimately, I can't control what they do with it, and so I have to let it go. So I got myself in a bit of a rut about it, but these things happen. I think also winter as well, you have your seasonal annual depression or whatever it's called, and the weather's horrible, it gets dark at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you just sat there waiting for things to happen that aren't. And I just thought, I've got to crack on and just make things happen for myself. So picked myself up a little bit, and just got back into a better mindset, and I've got to be there for my wife and my daughter as well. So no one needs a 30-year-old bloke moping around. I'm not 30, I'm in my 30s, I should say. A man in their 30s moping around the house, just bringing everyone else down as well. So yeah, that's it. You just got to accept that these things are how they are, and just got to crack on and move on with life.
It's a good way of looking at it, because we're all going to have our ups and downs, but having structures, or not structures, like concepts of kind of, like you said, with the control, and knowing when to let go and when you can control things, it kind of changes.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is a good way to live, because there is only so much you can do. If you want something, you can make it happen, but if there's mitigating factors around it, you can't do anything about it, and you just have to accept that you tried, you've done your best, and maybe it hasn't worked out, but you can try again, you can keep going, and you never know what's going to come from it. So yeah.
We also have to deal with the other backlash that I'm assuming you got when you announced to the world that you are no longer vegan.
Yeah.
How was that? And what happened? Why did you go from Ben's Vegan Kitchen to Ben Rebuck to announcing that you're no longer vegan? Are we allowed to talk about this?
Yeah, sure. I haven't really, I've spoken about it on my stories, but I guess this will be, the bombshell interview.
Oh, yeah.
No, you know what? I was vegan for a long time, and actually I wasn't vegan because the vegans told me that I wasn't vegan. I was eating a plant-based diet for a long time. You've got to be very specific with these things. And in the end, it stopped working for me. I loved it for such a great period of my life, and it really helped me when I first went plant-based. I was living in Tel Aviv, and I found eating the fresh produce, and eating things that were mimicking other things like burgers and pizzas. I was eating them, and I wasn't gaining weight, and I was feeling good, and it really fit into my life that I was living. And obviously I moved back to the UK, and I built a career off of the back of creating recipes. I don't want to say that I built a career off veganism, because I think it's belittling to myself, because that's not what I've done. I've built a career off authenticity, off honesty, off food, and off being myself. It just so happened to be that the food was plant-based. But it stopped working for me. And I did mention to it, because people were asking, like, I actually did stop eating a solely plant-based diet about a year before I actually told people that I wasn't going to be making solely plant-based content anymore. But I still felt that I owed it to my audience and to my platform to make only vegan content. And that's something that I was very adamant about it. And I remember saying to my friends, like, even if I do stop being vegan, which at the time I kind of already had, I'd still probably only make vegan content. But I realized about 8-9 months ago that me trying to do something that I wasn't actually doing goes against everything that I believed in and that I built my brand on, which is authenticity and being honest. And it felt almost like I was lying to people. And even though people wouldn't know, but like, I was going out to eat with family or friends or whatever, and, sort of looking over my shoulder to see that, and I felt uncomfortable. Like, I felt like I was doing something wrong, and really I wasn't doing anything wrong. I think you're going to obviously meet people who are ardent vegans who do really believe that, anyone who eats anything other than a solely plant-based diet is doing something wrong, and that's completely fair, and it's their opinion. And, there was a real moral compass, moment that I had to say, like, am I going to go back on, the things that I've kind of, used to propel me into the spotlight. Like, it felt a bit disingenuous doing it, but I was struggling with my weight, I was struggling with my happiness, and I kind of knew that I had to do something. And, people will watch this and people will still call me a piece of shit, and I presume I can swear if that's okay. People will still judge me for it, and that's fine. It was a purely selfish decision. But I'm at that stage in my life now where I think it's okay to be selfish, because I'm doing a lot of things for other people consistently. And it was the one thing that was holding me back, trying to achieve goals that I'm trying to do, which is, I'm on this fitness journey that I've been on for a couple of years. I'm trying to get to a place which is ironic, with this TENS machine and hot water bottle behind my back, but where I'm fit and healthy for longevity purposes, with one and another child coming, and, a wife who, relies on me for support. Like, I'm trying to do these things for myself. And, I was doing all this work in the gym, and I was eating tofu and beans and all these things which are great for you. But nothing was working for me. I was really trying to push my protein intake and lower my calorie intake, and it wasn't working from a plant-based diet for me personally. And I know you can do it. You have a lot of plant-based athletes, and you have a lot of people who, are really in much better shape than myself, solely on that, diet. Well, it's not a diet, it's a way of life, but, solely eating plant-based food. But for me, for whatever reason, like, it wasn't working. And I said, I need to try something different to make myself feel better about myself. So, yeah, I mean, I moved away initially from the Ben's Vegan Kitchen to my name, but that's something that I've wanted to do beforehand anyway, because, I built a brand and people didn't really necessarily know that it was me. I mean, they did, obviously, but they didn't know who I was. My goal is to, please God, one day do a cookbook, and it made sense just to move it to my name, to be my personal, authentic self, because, I don't always want to post about food. I want to talk about other things. I want to talk about my life and, fitness and travel and whatever else. And, being Ben's Vegan Kitchen, it kind of shoehorned me a little bit into a specific space. But I didn't change it and then stop making vegan content. I changed it, probably about a year ago, and, continuing to do vegan content. But, I made the decision that, like I said, it was a case of trying to remain authentic and genuine. And, I knew it was going to be difficult, and it's still, I feel kind of still awkward about it, if I'm being honest with you. I think I've only posted, since then, maybe 10 recipes, and 8 of them have been vegan still. And I'm working on a new series where maybe it will be out by the time this goes out, where it's called Twice as Nice, where I'm basically making the same dish twice, basically like the same sort of base, but one vegan, one non-vegan. But I'm still kind of sticking to, even though I am eating meat at the minute, I'm still trying to make it kind of veggie, maybe pescatarian at a push, because I still feel like it's, you know, it's a slow transition. I think I've seen a few people before, they're like, I'm not vegan anymore, steak. And it's like, whoa, you know, give it a minute. And a lot of people said, oh, you know, I'd still follow you if you went only to veggie. And I'm like, whatever, like, it is what it is. Like, I feel like with social media, whatever I do, people are judging me and people are unhappy with me about it. So I'm trying not to care so much, because no matter what I do, if it's supper clubs, if it's talking about Judaism or talking about Israel or talking about food that I'm eating or talking about fit, like whatever it is, like someone's going to be pissed off with it. So just is what it is. So it's not been an easy decision, but like I said, it's about being, you know, being genuine and, you know, trying to make sure that people see that. And, you know, I've been very honest about it, even though I was a little bit deceitful for a year or so, but you know, I'm doing what I think is best for me. And, you know, also I think it's very important to protect your mental health. Social media is an absolute cesspit.
Yes.
Beyond completely. A cesspit. So occasionally you have to do things, and you've got to turn off the ability for people to message you or comment on things, and just, you know, let it be, and is what it is. How
have you been protecting your mental health with all of this?
It's a good question. I mean, I think I'm quite thick-skinned. I think I'm so used to it now, like so used to it, and it's so terrible to say, like, yeah, I'm getting used to, you know, the hatred and the messages and the people, you know, calling me a piece of shit and saying they hate me. And, you know, this girl made a few videos about me a few weeks ago around the supper clubs that I was doing, and I was reading the comments, and like, people were like, oh, Ben's the worst person on earth, like I've hated him for years and stuff. I'm like, I don't know who the fuck any of you are. Like, it's just so weird.
That's so
But like
odd.
that's what, like, you know, that's what people are like. You know, they'll hate footballers for no reason, and they'll hate actors, and they'll be like, oh, I can't stand Adam Sandler, I'm not going to watch him. Like, people have irrational hatred towards people that they don't know, and it's normal. But it's weird when it's like it's you. It's a weird feeling, but you can only do, you know, I remember commenting on one of Chen Mazig's videos. He was talking about people talking about him, and I said, you know, if you've got haters, it's because there are people that love you as well. So that's why I try and look at it now. It's like, I can get 1,000 comments that are positive, but you focus on that one negative one. It's like, well, hang on, focus on the 999 that are good.
It's weird how our brain works with that.
Well, it's true. It's
you can
like,
get loads of compliments, and then you just zone in, be like, "There's one person."
But it's like you know, I like to talk about weddings as examples, or like a funeral. You can have a wedding where you invited 200 people and 200 of your closest friends are there, and at the end someone come up to you, can't believe so-and-so didn't come. I really thought they would be there. And it's like, well, hang on a sec, but everyone else was. Like, don't focus. But that's how we are as humans. We have this innate ability to look beyond the negative things, because they hurt us more. They, you know, someone say, oh, your dish looks great. I'm like, thank you. And someone being like, I hope you die. You're like, whew, that one hurts a little bit more.
Die, because you've got a lot of people at you for different reasons at the moment.
Everything.
Being Jewish, veganism, and supper clubs.
Yeah.
What was the hate? What was this video around the supper club hate?
Well, the idea behind, I did a series of, well, it was going to be 5. It was 4 in the end.
Not very happy. I was meant to be at your supper club yesterday. But
it was meant to be yesterday. And the idea was that I was teaming up with different people from different backgrounds to do different food. And I was doing this one with these 2 girls that I know, and they're half Jewish and half Indian. Their dad's Jewish and their mum's, I think, Punjabi Sikh. And the idea was that we were going to do like a collab between Jewish, Middle Eastern and Indian food, because actually a lot of the flavours are quite similar. There's a lot of crossover. But people just, you know, I think people took offence that on the menu I called a bureka an Israeli staple. And they took that as, you know, these Jews, these Zionists, these Israelis, they're claiming the food. And I said, at no point did I say a bureka is Israeli. An Israeli staple doesn't mean something Israeli. You know, an Israeli staple is, you know, there's so many Israeli staples which aren't Israeli foods. They're just staples in the country. There's loads of English staples, curry, kebabs. They're English staples. They're not English foods, but people can't look beyond what they see as this, like, hatred of Judaism and Zionism and whatever it is. They can't look beyond that. So, yeah, just, you know, in the end, the girls decided to cancel it. I had to find a new chef and do everything in a
Hold on. The girls that you were teaming up with.
Yeah, they pulled out because they were getting hate about it as well. They were being called, Zionist collaborators, and it was a whole thing. So I had to find a new chef and set up a whole supper club in 5 days, which was the last one, which leads me on to why I kind of cancelled the last one, because I had such a stress over, they're really hard work doing events, as anyone will tell you who's ever done them, but. Everything towards the last supper club that you were supposed to come to, it wasn't sitting right with me. I was meant to do it with Jo Nissim, who's an amazing home cook like myself, much better than I am, and she's good at cooking for hundreds of people because she's a lot more religious than I am, and they do all the Chagim and they do Shabbat and everything. But nothing was panning out. We'd only sold about 12 tickets with 3 weeks to go, which is kind of the way that it was going. You'd sell about 10, and then closer to the time you'd sort of sell out. We'd only sold about 12, and we'd come up with a menu, and it was a lot of elements to the menu. The people who were supposed to sponsor the alcohol, they pulled out because they decided that they weren't doing alcohol sponsorships at the minute. The place that I was doing it, they had events leading up to it, so we couldn't prep the food there. Jo, because she was Shomer Shabbat, couldn't help on the Saturday, and she was doing an event at her house on the Saturday. And I was like, there's literally no time, place, or possibility of me getting all this food ready. And it was meant to be like 11:30 on a Sunday. So I would have had to get there at like 8 o'clock as the earliest, and that was the earliest I could have gotten there. And you can't make food for 40 people between 8 and 11 o'clock. So in the end, I just said it was causing me too much stress, and I was like, I can't physically put myself through that again. Yeah. I was ill after the last one I did. Like I was.
What, from stress?
Yeah, we went on holiday, and I was just like ill for a few days because I was just like overworked and stressed, and it's a lot to do. But yeah, especially when people on the outside are, trying to wind you up and, trying to cancel you for whatever reason. And yeah.
There's so much to say and so much to talk about, so much that you've covered. I feel like I'll try and let you off the fact that I didn't come to your supper club.
Please forgive me.
But it was very painful emotionally to watch all of these people over the weeks post this delicious food. And I was like, look at that chocolate cake and look at that. I can't wait.
Should have come to those ones then.
Well, I was waiting. I was like, I'll do it, because also evenings I've got like 2 young children. So I was like, there's a day one, we'll have a night. But no.
Well, that was the idea.
So I am going to invite myself to your house. And
that's
you will
absolutely
cook
fine. No, I'm still planning to do other events. I'm in talks with a few other people potentially later in this year or beginning of next year, but they'll probably be, I bit off more than I could chew trying to do 5 in the space of, it was across, basically 10, 11 weeks, maybe 12 weeks. It was too much, and I overestimated like how much had to go into all of it. And yeah, I think when I do them again, it will be it's a one-off. Also the hype dies down a little bit, after we did the first one and we posted the video, people then started buying for the other ones because they were like, I now understand what it is and what the vibe's meant to be. But, people are busy, and, it was a lot of work going into it. And
yeah, it's a lot.
I wasn't doing it for the money. It was more kind of like a PR exercise, getting people to try my food and meeting me and, just, showing people a good time. But yeah, it was just 5 was it was the tipping point, unfortunately. But there will be more, please God.
Promise.
I do.
Okay, I will come. I'll find you.
I'm not going to promise.
I'm going to find you.
I don't promise, but I do still want to do them. The idea with the restaurant was that I was going to do like a monthly Shabbat or something at the restaurant, which would have been a really nice way to do it, which is why I ended up doing it with the social kitchen, because it was it was, instead of the restaurant, I can find a venue that's able to kind of host me and do it there. So yeah, that was the whole kind of, the restaurant didn't happen, let's try and do that. But yeah, I just needed more help, more hands on deck.
Message me, I can help.
Next time.
I used to have a smoothie truck.
Okay.
So I can make fast
Good
smoothies if you ever need
smoothies.
fast smoothies.
People love smoothies, so yeah.
I do need to circle back to something that is kind of popping out throughout when you talk about stress and anxiety. And in terms of like mental health, I know you post a lot about body image, and you've been posting photos, and you said you never used to show yourself. What's been the journey with everything with your mental health, if I can ask?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously it's such a big thing nowadays for people to talk about it and be open and honest about it. For me personally, like, I wouldn't say that I suffer with mental health problems. I get anxious, I get sad, I get depressed, but I'm human. I think they're all pretty normal things to happen. I've never really been in like a depressive episode for months on end, maybe a breakup or whatever, puts you in a bit of a funk, but it's never been like, oh, I have to see someone about this specifically. Like, it's always been, this is what's happened, how do I move past this? I think anxiety is something that probably I suffer with more, but I'm in my 30s, I'm a Jewish male, I'm a hypochondriac, I'm hardly a unique person
We're trying to break the stereotype.
Yeah, but there are, the stereotypes can be there for a reason, but that's just, it's how I am, I get worried about my health and whatever, but, I think my mental health is in a good space, and I think a lot of it is because I'm open about it. I think, the posting about it on social media is twofold. On the one side of it, I'm really of the opinion that as someone with a platform, if I talk about these things, it will help other people. And that in turn does help me, knowing that I'm helping me. And people message me all the time being like, oh, I never posed with my shirt off and I've seen you doing it and, we look quite similar and it's made me reevaluate how I want to go about it and, fuck it, I'm just going to do it type of situation. So knowing that I'm talking about things and, I've been very open about a lot of things, when I'm not in a good, place at the moment, I'm not really cooking and making content. I'll be honest with you, I'll say, this is why and this is what's going on. I need a few weeks, bear with me. But I had like a cosmetic surgical procedure a few years ago, which was a gynecomastia procedure, which is basically man boobs. And it was 100% nothing to do with medical issue. It was just a cosmetic thing that I wanted to have done. I posted about it because, I didn't know much about it before. And I thought if I'm posting about it, other people are going to realise that actually there is a way to deal with these things other than, whatever else hasn't been working. So I've always been very I also posted about when I was losing my hair and I shaved my hair off and, I'm doing all these things because I know it's going to help other people, but it's also for me, it's like a coping mechanism and it's nothing to do with, the nice comments, quite frankly, it's gotten to the point where all the comments and all the messages, some of them do touch me. I'm like, oh, that's really sweet. But most of it, you see so many a day, it kind of you become a little bit numb to it, which is a bit of a wanky thing to say because people are going out of their way. I try really hard with social media to respond to people when they message me. I think you gave me the award of fastest email response ever as well. I tried to be like that. I think, look, if people are taking time out of their day to try and speak to me and say something to me or ask me a question, I'm not better than anyone because I have followers. It doesn't make me a better person. I really do try and get back to people, which is stressful. It's hard work. When you have, 600,000 followers across things and you're getting comments and messages all the time, it can be tricky, but, I try and deal with it the best way that I can. But for me, like I said, it was twofold. It was, I'm doing it to try and help other people, but it is a coping mechanism for me to try and feel better about myself, putting myself out in positions where I'm uncomfortable and I'm worried about doing something makes me kind of want to do it a little bit more. I don't think it comes from a place of an egotistical place. I'm not, like I said, it's not, I'm posing with my shirt off so people can be like, oh, you're so sexy, you're so handsome. It doesn't bother. I'm married. I don't care what people think about me. I care what I think about myself, and I'm on this journey to try and validate my own feelings about myself. And I guess I can only do that by being genuine and being open about these things, which make me a little bit uncomfortable.
How are you feeling about yourself these days?
I've come to the realization that I think even if I look like Brad Pitt, I'd still be miserable about how I look. But that is what it is. I suffer from body dysmorphia. I was, I said it before, I was an obese child. I was big, and I've never been able to shift that image. And even though I'm not obese, I'm very fixated on my weight and my appearance, and it causes me, issues with my self-confidence and whatever. But you'd meet me, you'd chat to me, and you'd never know because I'm not trying to be oh, woe is me, this is how I feel. But I'm trying to make myself feel better about it, and I'm trying to get myself in a better place. So that's kind of all I can do, really.
It's inspiring when you see someone go through the motions, and I think we have portrayed sort of the idealistic life on social media. We show our highlight reel, as everyone talks about the highlight reel. but it is very refreshing when you're so vulnerable. And you're right, it helps other people. And I guess even if there are so many people commenting, you probably don't know the amount of people that aren't commenting, but you've helped them as well.
Yeah, I suppose, look, I think there are people who probably do put their vulnerabilities out there and don't really get anything back from it. Like, it probably doesn't actually help them. If anything, maybe it makes them feel worse, because, there are people, I see them on TikTok posting stuff like that, and the comments are like, oh, you're still a fat pig and whatever. Like, that's never going to help you. It's not going to put you in a better position. And I've had people say similar things to me, but I just know that, people go out their way to try and hurt and upset and whatever, just because that's what social media has given people the platform to do. But, I think for me personally, it has made me feel better about myself. And, strangers will give you bits of advice and you'll be like, oh yeah, that's really good. Like, someone said to me, like, why are you worried about running with your shirt off? You run past people, you'll never see them again. Who cares what they think? And I was like, yeah, who actually does care what this stranger on the street who you're literally never going to see again thinks of you in that split second? They'll judge you with your shirt on, they'll judge you for what you're wearing, they'll judge you anyway. So just, do what you want to do for you. And, en malasot, as they say in Israel.
What did they say?
En malasot.
What does that mean?
It's kind of like c'est la vie. It is what it is. It's
En malasot. Malasot?
Malasot.
Malasot.
My Hebrew's not great, so I'm not going to teach you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Duolingo is trying to teach me at the moment. I'm struggling.
Have you got to the pigeons and the kings
yes,
and the doves?
Iona, yeah. I'm like, my pigeon is eating my turtle.
Yes.
Like, great.
Fantastic.
I sometimes post on Instagram, I'm like, going to get me really far with
it doesn't help, no.
But quickly, do you think that because you've spoken about how being vegan has, like, you stopped being vegan to sort of help your mental health and everything else. Have you noticed a difference from incorporating, like, I don't want to say meat, or like less vegan food, more of the less vegan food? You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't want to put you on the spot and say meat.
No, but
do you feel better?
Ultimately I do, because I'm eating more well balanced when it comes to protein, to carbohydrates, to everything else. I'm able to balance it, firstly more conveniently, which, again, going back to what I said, from a selfish point of view, like, it is from convenience. I have a busy life. I have a daughter, a wife, and I cook for them often as well. It's a case of the convenience has made it easier for me, and, like, I do feel better. Like, I'm being able to improve my strength in the gym. Like, I can see all of these things, and I wasn't able to do that before. So there's no way that what I'm eating has nothing. I mean, you can tell us. There's no way that what I'm eating has no bearing on how I'm feeling. And my energy levels have been better. I've been just able to. It's all very ironic sitting here with a crippled back, but that can happen to anyone. But I've been mostly injury free, and I've felt better in the last, it was October that I started eating meat, and we're in July, so it was been a slow process, but yeah, from a general lifestyle point of view, like it pains me to say it, because I kind of hoped that it wasn't going to be the case, and that I would be like, oh, just, it's made no difference. But for me personally, and I can only talk about myself, like, I can't talk about other people, like, it has made me feel better.
If it makes you feel any better, I was also vegan, probably around the same time as you, for about 4 years.
Okay.
I even did raw vegan for a couple of weeks. That was, no, I'm never doing that again. No. And then it was just a point that I was like, this doesn't, no matter how much I keep trying to convince myself I feel good, I do not.
So many people messaged me when I told people, they were like, oh, I'm so happy to see that you shared this, because I've been going through the same thing, like, these feelings of I'm stagnant, I'm stuck, nothing's working anymore. Like, gaining weight, not losing, like, whatever it was. So many people said that they were going through the same thing, but they felt like this stigma, this societal pressure to stay one way. And, like, it's ridiculous. Like, we're able to change our jobs, we're able to move house, get new cars, we're able to do anything that we want. You can change your religion, you can change your hairstyle, you can, even, like, your physical, you're able to do all those things without people passing judgment. But your diet seemingly has other people concerned, talking about you're not getting enough protein, you're getting too much. Like, why? Like, it is what it is. Like, you have to accept that people are always going to have their own vested interests about things, and I will always be very supportive of plant-based food, because my mantra with that was there are so many more things that I can eat than I can't eat. You can list off from a plant-based diet, you can't eat meat, fish, dairy, eggs. That's it. There's a billion other things that you can eat. So it was always, that's the way that I saw it. And the food that I was making food. It wasn't vegan, it was food. It just happened to be...
With a lot of nutritional yeast.
A lot of nutritional yeast is great. It's delicious.
It saved me.
It saves me, yeah. But, you know, I'm still very much like a supporter of that. And I would never say to someone, oh, don't do it. But even when I was doing it, I would always say, do it once a week, twice a week, and see how you feel. Like, it's not for me. I'm not a nutritionist. Like, it's not for me to say you should do it because it's made me feel X, Y, Z.
I am. You should all do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are a lot of benefits, but I was similar. I mean, I'm not a cook, but I found that going plant-based, it did get me back on like cooking, and because you have to figure out different ways of making, like I can now make bean burgers, and like I can do this really good, I don't know whether you know Kimberly Snyder, she was like a nutritionist, plant-based, she was amazing. She created this like vegan mac and cheese, and now I can make, because I hate regular mac and cheese, I don't get it. I don't understand mac and cheese, just whatever.
Yeah.
But she made this thing with like coconut milk and nutritional yeast. And I'm like, this is good. And sweet potato or butternut squash or something.
Listen,
like you can shake things up.
It teaches you the ability to turn a carrot into smoked salmon, and you know all these things that you don't think that you're going to be able to do. So you know,
Don't go that far. I wasn't able to turn a carrot.
Oh, you can do it quite easily.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Will you when you next have your supper club? Can we put that on the menu? Oh no, I heard you saying that it takes hours.
It does. Yeah, it takes a while. I did it on TV.
Yes.
But the magic of TV, you know, things are kind of done, you know, before and after, whatever. So, but yeah, look, I think it's a good way to incorporate more things into your diet, more fibers, more greens, more vegetables, more legumes, things that people don't eat enough of. But it's not for everyone.
No.
Yeah.
It's true. On that note, talking about food, we do have a food delivery.
I'm excited.
So we need to bring in the food. Hopefully I can say this and like the door magically open. Or maybe it won't. But it is, look.
I'm excited. You haven't told me what it is yet.
Well, we'll see. Hello. Hello. So this is Seb from Balagan.
Ah.
So they are amazing. Have you been to Balagan before?
I haven't been, no, but it's around the corner from where I live, and You're in Radlett. Yeah. So I know of it, but I haven't tried it yet.
Until today. Hello.
And then you'll have to come into the restaurant.
I am. I got a message from someone the other day saying to come in and have some food.
My wife.
I think it was, yeah.
Oh, well, you don't go, we bring it to you.
There you go, even better.
She's head of PR.
Okay. She did a good job. She convinced me, but I haven't had a minute yet, so.
What have we got today, Zev?
Right, today we've got falafel salad.
Very
I've kept
nice.
everything separate so I don't get all the mushrooms.
Oh, thank you. Wow. So on the podcast last time, I have to tell you, we were doing this thing where the guest before orders you food. So we got Zach Margolin to pick you something, and he chose a vegan burger with vegan cheese. And then you messaged me going, is it going to be healthy food? And also, Zach completely slated me. He's like, how can you order me a burger and chips and be a nutritionist? So I thought we had to scrap that. And instead, we've now got a falafel salad.
Beautiful.
And also...
It's okay. We've got a surprise today.
We've got a surprise.
Ooh.
Oh, what have we got?
Barbecue wings.
Okay.
Amazing.
Hummus.
You don't have to eat this all in one setting, by the way.
It's feeling like a different type of video now. It's like those mukbang where you have to, really put yourself out there. But
what's mukbang?
you know, the where people sit and they eat like 100 things in like a video.
Oh, let's do that.
Yeah.
Go.
The only issue is I can't sit forward.
I'll bring it to you. We can get a plate ready for you. What's in the other one? Are they all chicken wings?
This is barbecue wings, sweet chili wings.
Wow.
This is the falafel.
Wow.
What's your speciality at Balagan? Is it the shawarma? That's what I heard.
Our shawarma is fantastic. It's really good.
I can vouch for that. It is amazing.
Our burgers are also really good.
Okay.
We make a nude fried chicken burger, which is that's my go-to. I mean, it's incredible.
Okay.
I think so.
What's it? A nuke? What did you say? A nuke fried? Nuke.
No, it's a fried chicken burger.
It's
Oh,
a new fried chicken.
Oh, a new. I thought you were like nuke fried, like a like
so opposed to a
nuclear.
schnitzel, which is breadcrumbs, the fried chicken burger is in flour and cornstarch mix with different spices.
Very nice.
Really good.
Amazing.
So here we have it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I did hear on another podcast that you said you really miss chicken wings. Being a vegan, you don't feel you need to eat this so that your followers will hate you even more.
They hate me anyway. It's fine.
But you've got to try the food.
Yeah,
I can bring.
Fried chicken wings are fantastic.
Okay.
These are okay, but fried chicken wings are
Beautiful. I'm
when you
looking
come and have lunch with us,
try everything.
We'll try everything.
And also for everyone watching the podcast, you can get 10% off at Balagan. It's in Borehamwood, so make sure you head down there and try some. I mean, this food is absolutely incredible. So just say you've seen What the Falafel podcast, and yeah, they'll look after you. And now I'm going to serve Ben because he can't move.
I really can't move.
You're stuck.
I'm absolutely stuck.
Thank you so much, Seb.
you.
So nice
Lovely
to see you.
100%.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Wow, look at this. Okay, shall I serve you or does... Yeah, I'll set up. Allow me.
Yeah.
You look petrified. Are you just in pain?
Yeah, no, it's just the movement.
Okay, don't move.
No, I need to move a little bit because I can't.
All right. Right. Shall I just load you up?
Yeah, I just have a bit of everything, but don't go nuts.
Right.
I figured this is.
Get a plate out.
Did he like his burger at least, Zach?
He did. Yes, I think. Yeah, he gave it an 8.2.
Oh, okay, very specific.
Is that all right?
Yeah, that's lovely.
Okay. I'm just going to pick up that. But I don't trust myself to eat chicken wings on camera because it might go everywhere.
Yeah, I'm not sure I do either. See, I'm a bit of a falafel snob, so.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Why?
Because
well, you lived in Tel Aviv.
I lived in Tel Aviv, and you very quickly learn what is good and what isn't good falafel. But I've heard good things about their falafel.
Okay. You've
and
got to be nice.
We're on the What the Falafel as well.
Yeah. Well, we had to have what the
Yeah.
falafel.
No, it will be nice.
Okay.
but
What constitutes a good falafel?
I think falafel can be very dry. Falafel on the inside, I haven't opened one yet. There has to be green. The greener the better.
I'm gonna check.
It's got to be green.
Shit.
Is it not?
Yeah. Just close your eyes.
Okay. Well,
Put a bit of salad on. No, but it's.
let me try it.
Go on. It's really good.
It's good.
Good falafel.
And good falafel.
Wish I hadn't asked now. Make it green. That's like they put parsley and coriander in, right? To
Yeah.
Make it green.
But I think it's obviously not style over substance, but some of them are green and don't taste nice. I just think it's very easy to do falafel badly. It's very easy to make it dry and very easy to make it overcooked or not crispy enough. But yeah, I mean, there's also loads of different types of falafels from different regions that all taste different. I just grew up on the Israeli style version. Is that okay? Hope that's okay with everyone.
Nothing's okay when you mention Israel. Nothing.
Well, Israelis eat falafel, and I've eaten a lot of Israeli people's made falafel. That didn't make sense, but yeah. Falafel made by Israelis.
Do you know what? I had this whole thing because I thought I'm going to get hate for this. I asked ChatGPT. I was like, what is this whole falafel thing? Did Israelis steal falafel? No, like, absolutely not. I wish I'd brought this up for the episode. But something like absolutely not, because it's a Middle Eastern food. And everywhere in the Middle East, and also like Jews lived in Palestine. I mean, this is a whole political conversation, but they did. And so they've just kind of incorporated, and also there were Jews in, is it Yemen? And they brought the food with them to Israel and everywhere. But also I went to Cyprus recently, and they were doing lots of food, like this sort of Middle Eastern food.
Unfortunately, the internet will tell you a lot of things that are not true about a lot of stuff. People eat food around the world. We eat falafel in this country.
Yes, we do.
It is what it is. But yeah, what can you do? People are always going to be upset about something. So
Let's talk about antisemitism.
Oh, good.
Let's lead straight into it. Well, firstly, how long did you live in Tel Aviv for?
Like 2.5 years.
Okay, that's a long time. Why?
Why not?
Good response. What made you go out there?
So I'm going to move this closer because I did move it back.
Yeah, do. I'm going to check, make sure I don't have falafel in my teeth. Please continue.
I think I do, but it's fine.
Would you like a mirror?
No, it's fine because
Okay.
Sure, the cameras aren't that good, surely.
They're very good. Do you want me to have a look?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I'm going to eat more afterwards.
Yeah,
I'm not
please
being
do.
rude. Yeah, I was at a stage in my life. I was 22, 23. I'd been to uni. I'd got a job, and I left the job, and I was trying to find what to do. I started working in property for a little bit, and I got this job in commercial property because I was like, I have some family in commercial property. I know you're trying to move away from stereotypes, but
No, that's okay.
it is what it is. And I was like, I can see this career. I can understand this path. I make some good money and, settle down, whatever. I got this job, and I remember being like, I'm going to give it 12 months. And if at any point in these 12 months I'm unhappy, I'm going to move to Israel. And 6 months in, I was like, this job is terrible. The money is awful. My sister had made Aliyah like 2 years before. I was like, now or never. If I don't do it now, I'll regret it because I won't ever do it. And that was it. That was December 2014. And then by June 2015, I was there. I'd moved. So yeah, spent those 6 months getting it together, saying my goodbyes to people, and yeah, I kind of knew that I wouldn't be one of those, I'm going to live in Israel forever type of people. I was like, I'm going to go, I'm going to have fun, I'm going to meet people, I'm going to, get a job and do what I got to do and have fun and enjoy it. Tel Aviv is an amazing city for younger people. I'm in my 30s and I still enjoy it a lot. I think if you're over 50, it starts to be a bit crazy, but I loved it. I had a really cool job. I met some really great people. I just had an amazing life, to be honest. And it got to the point where I was a bit like, I kind of reached my career progression there was, if you're not a Hebrew speaker, if you only speak English, there's only 10 or so companies that you can work for. And I was working at one of them, and I could see, I was working at a really cool one, but a lot of the other ones, they were just like kind of boring high-tech companies, but you spoke English, so you would work there. I was like, this is not my life. This isn't, I'm not living this, Theodore Herzl Zionist dream that I have to stay here just to work for, a company where I'm helping sell computer software because I speak English. I was like, that's not what I want. So I was like, I'm going to move back and, try and actually progress. I was working in football media out there, and that's actually what I wanted to do. I did sports journalism at university. So I was like, I'm going to move back and, pursue a career in football. And I did. I worked in football media over here for another 2.5 years, maybe 3 years. Then I moved into general media, and then I got into doing what I'm doing now. So, it was a great experience. And any young Jewish people who are watching, I would recommend you have an amazing opportunity to basically live in another country. You can't with a British passport anymore. So go there, try it out, enjoy it. You don't have to make Aliyah. You can move on visas. And they're
I was wondering that if you had to commit and make Aliyah.
Well, no, because I was 24, they would have made me join the army if I made Aliyah. So I moved on I think it was called like a B1 visa or a B2 visa, which entitles you to work and whatever. And you don't get, I think a lot of the benefits of Aliyah is you don't pay tax for the first year, and you don't pay this, and you don't pay that. But after I was living there for about 7 or 8 months, they had they often do like policy holidays, and they were like, if anyone wants to make Aliyah between this month and that month, everything that we've said before goes out the window, just do it. And I was like, I'm already here, I may as well not pay my tax for a year. And you've got like your vad bayit, which is like the or is it the Arnona? One of them. Arnona or Vad Bayit? I think it's Arnona is like the municipality tax. So like when you're renting, like your council tax, basically. Okay. You don't have to pay that for a year, whatever. So I was like, screw it, I'm here. I may as well save, 5 or 6 grand in taxes and whatever, and, just enjoy it. So I did. It was great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Do you miss it?
Yeah, I miss it a lot. But every time I go back, I know it's not the Israel that I lived in. It's very different, It's like childhood. Like I miss my childhood, but you can't go back to it because it doesn't exist anymore. But I miss that memory of it. Oh, sorry, my phone was on silent, but it's just vibrated somehow. It must be my wife breaking through my silent barrier.
It's either that or your TENS machine. I was trying to work out.
No, the TENS machine has actually turned off though, but that's a different thing. It's fine. The Israel that, the company that I worked for, like it was like the right time, the right place, the right people. Like we had such a good time. Everything was just really great, and I just know like every time I go back, like the people that I worked with, a lot of them who left Israel, the ones that are still there, they are either married with kids and they live in like Givatayim or Ramat Gan or Beersheva or somewhere else, and I go back to visit and I'm just like, oh, there's literally no one here. My mum lives in Israel, and my sister's been there for 12 years, but she's currently living in Thailand because why not? So yeah, even when I went a few months ago, just before the 12-day war, that's what we're calling it, I think.
Which one?
The Iranian 12-day war, I believe, is the one. But yeah, I went just before then, and I've been twice since October 7th, and it's I don't know, it just doesn't feel the same. I love it. I'm like deeply passionate about it. I love being there. I feel Tel Aviv is like the only city in the world that I just know. I've lived in London pretty much my whole life, and I have to use Waze to get everywhere, like Google Maps, whatever it is. In Tel Aviv, I could be staying in Jaffa, and someone says, "Oh, meet me on Rambam," and I'm like, "Cool." Get on a scooter, and I'm there. I haven't even thought about it, and it's just I just know it, and it's a nice feeling. Like I feel, at home there, but.
Well, you did a supper club there, didn't you? And
I did. I've done a few events. Didn't you
post something like, how can we get this to here? And then you had some random people pick you up.
It was just basically Israel. It was, we had prepped in my friend's apartment, and we needed to get it to, he was next to the Shuk, and we had to get it to Florentine, it's only 10 minutes away, but all the cabs were turning us down because there was too much stuff. And some guys on the phone, some French guy, and he was like, "Oh, I want to help you." Like, I only spoke Hebrew or French. He was like, "I have a friend, he's got a van, he can be here in 10 minutes. We were like, "Sure." Guy shows up. Like, imagine, like, genuinely, like, your Amazon delivery driver opens his van full of parcels, and he's like, "Give me 500 shekels and I'll take you." And you're like, "What else can we do?" So we paid the guy that was like 120 quid just to go 10 minutes.
Oh, when you posted it on Instagram, I thought, oh, how nice, they're just offering a lift. I didn't realise they were charging you.
Yeah, it's a country full of Jews. Again, sorry with your stereotypes.
No, break the stereotypes. Yeah. But you got there safely.
We got there, and the supper club was great. It was really enjoyable to do. The last 2 times I've been, I've tried to do stuff which is more about kind of just giving back to people. I did like the year before last, I did like it was a supper club, but it was at a restaurant. So actually the restaurant just cooked the food. There was just a little bit of a collab on there. And I spent the whole day like talking to people, and, it really affected me. I met some people there that I'm still in touch with whose, partners, no, it wasn't her partner. It was her brother's, her sister's partner or something like that had died in Gaza. And, just talking to all these people firsthand, and you're realizing that, all the stuff that you're going through is kind of semi-irrelevant, but it's been hard. Obviously, there's a lot being a influencer, content creator, whatever you want to call me. I've been invited to Israel probably about 50 times in the last 2 years, but I don't really want to go on these death marches. That I don't want to go to Nova. I don't want to go to Kibbutz Be'eri. Like
you're invited to go and
so many times by so many different organisations, which I think is great and it's lovely, but it's not for me. Like, I know what happened. I believe what happened. I believe the people who said what happened. They need to be gathering people who are on the opposite side of the spectrum who don't believe it to go and see it. So, but yeah, it's difficult to go back now. I've found it the last 2 trips quite emotional. I think the first time I cried like at least twice a day for the 5-6 days that I was there, and it's just heavy. It's like it's a lot, and it's a shame because. I remember when October 7th was happening, again, from a strictly selfish point of view, I remember being like, all of this has happened, and it's also like the Israel that I know, that I love. I've been going to Israel my whole life. My grandma lived there, for 45 years of her life. Been going there since I was there's a picture of me there, I'm like 6 months old at my grandma's house. And I just knew October 7th, I was like, that will never be the Israel that I go back to. And there are still people who, they still live that same, they're on the beach, they're chilling, they're having barbecues, they're drinking, that's how they are. But I found it quite hard to, like, put off my, like, feelings of what was going on, like the broader picture. Like, it's difficult, Yeah. Obviously,
I think as well, when you're quite attuned, and I imagine I see a lot of people, and I also feel like this, when you're on that side of things where you're a little bit more anxious or you're generally have anxiety, I know you mentioned before, you can be very attuned to energies. And like, so if you walk somewhere and you can feel that something's slightly different or big things have happened in a place, it can affect you.
Yeah, it's hard. I think it's hard to, you can't escape it over there now. You know, my friend sent me a video from the Iran war last week, and it was where one of these ballistic missiles had hit in the middle of Tel Aviv on the corner of Allenby and Ben Yehuda, and he's there with a video, and I'm like, I lived in that building literally there. And the hotel that got hit, I stayed in three times ago that I went to Israel. So, you know, all these things feel very like you're deeply connected to it. Like people don't get that about Jews and Israel. Like they can say what they want, and you know, yes, there were Arabs there before us, but there were Jews there before them. Like this is, there's no, I mean, there probably are other places on earth, but I know for us, there's nowhere else on earth that feels and gives that same, I use the term energy, like that same energy that Israel gives to Jews. I know a lot of Jews don't feel it, but most of us do. You know, I remember being younger, you used to fly into Ben Gurion, it was the old terminal, which I think is Terminal 1, not Terminal 3, or the other way around, maybe it's Terminal 3. And you never used to be, like, they didn't have the bridges that go to the airport. You used to get off the plane and you were outside, and there was like this smell, and I've never smelt that smell anywhere else other than there. And it was just, we always used to talk about it with my family. We're like, that was just when you knew, like suddenly all your worries, all your issues, just everything just with that one like sniff of, I don't know, it was something to do with dates or palm trees or whatever it was. And yeah, it just, you know, it means, I talk about Israel like it's, you know, it really is something I'm hugely passionate about, but it's also really difficult to talk about it nowadays because, you know, I think people presume that being a Zionist is this terrible, you know, genocidal sect of people who hate and want death, and it's just not who we are. Like, I don't talk about it a lot on social media because I don't want people to think I'm giving in to pressure to talk about things because other people are talking about it. But obviously it's fucking terrible what's happened in Gaza. It's terrible what happened in Lebanon. It's terrible what's happening in all these places, and Israel as well. And like, it's difficult being there, continuing. Like, I went there with the Israeli embassy in April for the Jerusalem marathon, and I was like, you know what, it's a cool opportunity. I'm enjoying running. Like, I didn't do the marathon, I did like a 10k. And I knew they were like, you know, we want you to post videos. And I said, like, I'm not mentioning you at all. I'm not saying that you've paid for me to go, because it just looks like I'm part parcel of, you know, I see the bigger picture. And even though that I'm doing the marathon, people are still saying like you're doing this fun run whilst there are people being killed. Like, yeah, like it did feel, it's a little bit like Black Mirror, like, but life has to go on. Like, life goes on in all the other places when all these other terrible things happen. But you know, I don't vote for the government in Israel. You don't vote for the government in Israel. Just because we're Jews doesn't mean we support it. And I've posted, I always say to people, they're like, you don't talk out about it enough. I'm like, it's not my place to talk out about the government because I have no say in it. Like, I have nothing to do with it. But when I was in Israel 2 years ago, I can show you the video of us protesting against the government, because that happened every single weekend in Israel for like 65 weeks until October 7th. Then they had to stop it. They were protesting against what the government is doing in that country because they don't want it either. People don't want the war. People don't want this happening. And I feel very strongly the same way. But I can't control. What can I do about it? Absolutely nothing.
You've been a very proud Jew, though, during this time. And I think people have looked, these people that I speak to, looking for people to give them this, like, it's okay to be Jewish. And you've definitely done that. Because
it is. Like, I think we're a fearful bunch. I think we worry. History has made it very obvious that we're right to worry. But, you know, I'm on these Facebook groups, and, you know, people are just, the stuff that people come up with, like, oh, there was a man, he walked past the synagogue 3 or 4 times. I think, you know, we need to call the police. And I'm worried. I'm like, you know, it could be just someone going for a walk. Like,
we're all very hyper
vigilant, hypersensitive. And, you know, for me, like, a lot of it is about breaking that stereotype of what it is. I know I just did like a Nebby Jewish voice talking about it, but like, I think you mentioned it before, and it's, I've talked about it a lot. You watch TV and you see the same 5 or 6 Jewish people, and you watch shows like Friday Night Dinner, which is about a stereotypical Jewish family where none of them are Jewish, and it is all leaning into stereotypes, you know, your mummy's boys, and you know, your kvelling mum who's like, oh, Bubby, let me help you with this. And a lot of these are valid stereotypes, but that's not who I am. You know, I don't look like that. I don't dress like that. I don't wear, you know, like a shirt and a Ralph Lauren like zip up. Like, I'm cool. Like, I'm young. I'm trendy. Like, I'm Jewish, and most of the Jews that I know are more like you and I than they are like that. So a big thing for me is like, I want people to watch my videos and be like, oh, I didn't realise that guy was Jewish, and oh, he's talking about he's talking about Rosh Hashanah. Like, oh, I followed him because I saw a video for this tofu dish that he made and I really liked it. And now he's telling me about things that I didn't know about. And, you know, for me, it's really important. You know, I think I mentioned really briefly before, like, people always ask me, like, how do you succeed on social media? Like, what's the one thing that you do, or what's the one thing that I can do? And I always say the only thing that you have, that I have, that anyone in this room has that is different, anyone can do what I do. It's not difficult to do what I do, but no one is me, and no one can be me, and no one can do that authentically other than myself. So the only way to succeed in social media particularly is to be yourself. And myself, I am unapologetically Jewish. I am Jewish. I remember getting a message once from someone being like, ugh, enough with the Jew shit. And I remember saying to him, I was like, but I'm Jewish. Like, everything I do is Jew shit. Like, I have Jew shit.
I feel like you need a t-shirt that says that everything I do is Jew shit.
Yeah, because I am. Like, I'm Jewish. Like, everything I do is Jewish by default. Like, you know, it is just what it is. Like, you know, it's important to me, and I think it's important to a lot of people. But, you know, not talking about it, I think is, it just kind of, it proves other people right. And I'd rather not do that. I'd rather be someone who, you know, sticks to what they believe in and stands up for themselves. And how can I be unapologetically myself and true to myself if I don't talk about the thing that has almost defined me and shaped me my whole life, and my parents' lives and their parents' lives and their parents' lives? You know, it's been the one thing that has been passed down.
Yeah.
And, you know, please God, pass down to my children as well. And I was talking with my dad yesterday about trying to work out a Hebrew name for, please God, our son who's due in a few months. And he was like, oh, you know, you still got all this to look forward to. I'm like, oh yeah, thanks for that. I'm like, and the rest of all the
stuff. What do you mean? You've still
got... he was basically saying, like, how frustrating it is. Like, we struggled to find a name for the son. And I was like, now we need to find a Hebrew name. He was like, oh, good luck with that. And I was like, oh, thanks. Like, and thanks for everything that came with it. I'm like, it's not easy being Jewish. Like, you know, you've passed that down to me, and, you know, now I've had to deal with all the repercussions and everything else because of it. But
well, the repercussions being Jewish, you mean?
Yeah, of course.
Right. Yeah.
My life would be so much easier if I wasn't Jewish. But
yeah.
I have gay friends who say my life would be much easier if I wasn't gay, and like they're right and I'm right. Like, how much easier would my life be if I didn't give a shit about Israel or Gaza or Jewish food, or I was just a guy who just could do whatever.
Just a guy.
I could play paddle and I could, you know, smoke weed and I could do whatever I wanted, or I don't know, like I could just be just another person.
Yeah.
But I can't be because I'm not. So.
How you've said so. There's so much I want to talk
Sorry,
about.
it's so I don't
good.
Stop talking.
No, I love this, but I just want to talk to you about, like, there's part of it where you're saying there was something where I'm thinking I do want to talk to you about this in terms of how you dress, and you're not the typical, like, North London Jewish boy. You look like you've got style and you've got tattoos and piercings. What have you always been sort of like cool?
No.
Or have you?
It definitely wasn't for a long period in my life, but you know, again, it goes back to all of the stuff about body image and self-confidence, and you know, trying to find where I fit in and with who I fit in with, and a style, and you know, music and food, and like whatever it is. Like, I've always been, you know, sort of happy to, you know, I was a boy, I liked football. It was easy for me because I'd play football, I'd watch football, I'd talk about football. You know, people liked wrestling, I liked wrestling. People, when I was 10, listened to Slipknot, I listened to Slipknot. It was what it was. I didn't like Slipknot that much, but I listened to it because that's what everyone else did. I was always one of those people that kind of went with what was going on because it was easier for me. And when I got older, I was like, well, you know, I'm dressing a certain way because I only know other people who dressed a certain way, and you know, it was, you know, my dad and this and that, and it's like, oh, you know, this is probably what I should wear, jeans and a nice polo shirt or whatever. And it was like, actually, you know what, why don't I just wear what I went to an art university, and I was like, oh, people here dress differently. They got skinny jeans and they roll their sleeves up on their t-shirts and they get tattoos.
Did you go to?
It was not it was just a university in Surrey. It wasn't good. I won't talk about them in case anyone decides to go there. Okay. I don't want that on my conscience. But you know, I was like, people are cool. I was like, this is a bit more me. I was like, I want to get tattoos. Like, I want to roll my sleeves up. I want to wear these jeans, and that was it. I just, you know, decided that I'll dress how I want and wear what I feel comfortable in. And you know, it is about keeping up with some fashion trends and whatever. But still, I'm like, oh, that looks nice. I'll wear that, and so we'll just make it work. You know. I think I'm quite lucky that I wear stuff and it looks all right on me, and even if it is a bit stupid, I can sort of pull it off. But
Why?
Yeah,
I don't
it's
think you look stupid.
No,
I
no.
have said before, I really like your shorts.
Yeah, and I said
I
Timu,
really-
they were like £2.
Yeah, I like it.
Big up.
I like the style. I like when people just follow what lights them up. That's one of the things that I think is most attractive about men, women. It's when they have like a passion, they enjoy something, or they like a style and they follow it and they're true to themselves. I think it's a really lovely trait to have when you're just like, this is what I like, so I'm going to do it.
It goes with everything that I've said, you know. I am just myself, and, you know, people always say to me if they meet me on the street, like they come up, they talk to me, they will say, oh, you're exactly how I thought you were going to be. And for me, that's the best compliment that I can ever have. I'm not like...
Except the one that called you a Jewish shit or something.
Fuck him, it doesn't matter. Yeah, but if they met me, they would never say that to my face. You know,
Yeah.
that's the difference, you know. I am who I am. Like, don't get me wrong, like when I'm doing my like social media videos, like I have like a slightly different voice. Like when I'm doing my voiceovers, I'll be like, hey, welcome to this, I'm doing that. Like I can't be bothered to talk like that all the time. I'm tired. My back really hurts, you know. I'm stressed. I can't always be like 100% happy. But when people meet me, they always say, oh, yeah, I didn't know you before, but I kind of felt like I did, and you were exactly how I thought you were going to be, which, like I said, I think is a really big compliment. Because
he is very nice in person.
this is what people say. Yeah, people don't like me for whatever reason, but I think I'm a nice guy. You know, I'm pretty nice. I have my flaws, but we all do. But I think I'm pretty nice. You know,
You seem very nice.
I think so.
We can all learn a lot from being nice, like you.
It definitely helps. I'm not always nice. You know, if you cross me, you'll know
If you
about
cross me,
it.
I'll fuck you up.
But it's true. No,
Sorry.
No, I
language.
won't.
Good.
Yeah.
But we saw you. I remember just coming across like the TV, and we were skimming through, and all of a sudden you're like this guy on TV wearing a chai, and you said, was it your granddad's?
My grandma's. Yeah.
Grandma's.
Yeah.
And you've got it.
Yeah.
And it's just like I said before, it's just nice that you're just a proud Jew. But what do you follow? Well, there's two questions. There's like, how did you get on Saturday Kitchen, and also like, what's your Jewish identity? Like, what do you do or what do you not do? Can you just answer those questions? Whichever one you want to pick.
I got on Saturday Kitchen because they asked me, and I said yes.
Great. They just found you through like social media.
Yep.
Awesome.
That's probably how they find out, I think, a lot of people, or restaurants, obviously. So that was the short answer for that.
Thank you.
The second question was, what do I do? Like,
what's it like when on your level of like Jewishness? Are you like I was going to say like a bacon eating Jew? Do you keep Shabbat dinners? I heard you say you don't believe in Moses, but you're just like an ethno Jew.
Did I say that?
Do you believe in Moses now?
Do I think the story of a 400-year-old man putting a stick in the water happened? Probably not. But do I think the story behind it signifies something a little bit deeper than that? Yes.
Oh, actually, sorry to interrupt you. There's a brilliant show on Netflix. Someone told me to watch it. It's like the Old Testament, something about the Testament, and it's a story of Moses, and they've got all these professors discussing the story of Moses and how there's actually evidence for it. Watch it. It's good. Please continue.
I'll happily watch it.
This wasn't me sitting here trying to convince you
I
to
think
believe in the Torah.
It's funny because actually I draw a lot of comparisons between Judaism and veganism, because I think you can be as vegan as you want. You can do meatless Mondays, you can not eat fish, and you can whatever. And Judaism's the same. You can do it as much or as little as you want, because if I did a DNA test, it would come back and say I'm 100% Ashkenazi Jewish, because my dad did one which said 100%.
Well, I got 99%.
Yeah.
I was like, tell me where I'm from. It's like, you're Ashkenazi.
You're from the mix.
That.
Yeah. So I know that it's something that it's inside me anyway. Do I believe in Hashem and a greater power above us? Like, to an extent, yes. Because there's no way in this infinite galaxy of stars, like, we're the only ones. Like, it's impossible. It's a mathematical impossibility. Like, I refuse to believe that. Do I believe word for word the Torah? No, I don't. I know the Ten Commandments are there as they are the cornerstones of don't steal, don't commit adultery, don't kill. Like, they're there because it all makes sense to live coherently, you know, with other people. It clearly doesn't work. But Judaism to me is, you know, it's doing it as and when I want to do it. You know, we did Shabbat on Friday, just gone. I mean, today's Monday, yeah. So we did Shabbat dinner. I had everyone round, lit the candles, had some challah. But I haven't done it for the previous 10 before then. And yeah, I don't keep Shabbat. You know, I fast every other year, I think, on Yom Kippur now, if I fancy it. Depends how busy I am. And yeah, we do the Chagim. We have Pesach. You know, Pesach is we do the 10-minute Seder, and then we watch Prince of Egypt. It's a great tradition.
I love the Prince of
Best
Egypt.
film ever.
Yeah, it really is.
I love it so much.
I've actually ordered it now. Like I've bought it
we've got it.
because I'm like, we do this
there.
every year.
It's there.
But the songs, I'm like, we've got Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston.
It's next level. But yeah, I don't keep kosher. You know, I did whilst I was vegan. I didn't eat any, you know, treif or any offal or anything like that. But yeah, no, I just do whatever. I'm Jewish. My wife's Jewish. My kids are Jewish. You know, my whole family. Like, I have one of these, like, I think it's getting rarer where like literally everyone in my nuclear family around is all like halakhically Jewish. Like, there hasn't been anyone who like wasn't then was. I mean, my wife's family has a bit. I have some like second cousins who their mum converted or whatever, but everyone's Jewish. Like, my whole family, I've never known anything different. So yeah, I'm pretty Jewish, but I do it in my own way. I get Hebrew tattoos and, you know,
and Hebrew socks.
And sometimes if Chelsea are taking a penalty in a big game, I'll say Hashem, Yalla. I'll do a mitzvah if you let this goal go in, and maybe that'll be it. But yeah, sometimes I go to shul. I'm very friendly with the rabbi. I've got a good rabbi.
Oh, that's who's your rabbi?
Rabbi Adam. He's St Albans, Masorti. Recommended very highly.
Rabbi Adam's surname?
I can't pronounce his surname.
Oh, okay.
We're clearly not that
I think it's
close.
for the rabbi. I know a Rabbi Adams who's also very nice.
He's got a Polski, like lots of Zs and stuff in there.
Okay.
He's got Moffat Z. There's a Z in there somewhere. I keep attacking this microphone. But yeah, I do my thing.
You qualify for the podcast then. We can keep this episode in.
I think I more than
Definitely
qualify.
Jewish.
Absolutely. Definitely.
It's been so nice to talk to you. Where can everyone find you? I mean, I'm sure they already have found you.
Well, my address is on the HMRC website if people are desperate. I'm joking. That's my accountant's address, so don't even try it. You can follow me on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, all Ben Rebuck, Rebuck. That's also why I didn't want to change it to my name, because my surname's awkward. If I say Rebuck, people are like, how do you spell it?
How else would you spell it?
Don't know.
Okay.
2 E's, maybe a Y, maybe a Z. You never know with these Polish surnames. But yeah, I'm on all the socials. You know, I cook food. If you like food, if you like a bloke talking about mental health and fitness and other stuff, definitely check it out.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.